Let's go into the technical side of the Concrete5 first. So what makes Concrete5 unique and, you know, maybe better from the other CMS, or how you say?
Well, I think even a casual glance, what you'll see is unique is in-context editing. More other content management systems are starting to have it, but it's very, very smooth with Concrete5. You can go to a page, see a typo, and fix that typo without having to learn an administration console. So when we train clients, it takes us about 15 minutes, often a phone call. You know, that's a kind of a knee-jerk difference. I think that points to a deeper difference between us and much of our competition, in that we understand there's a relationship behind every website. There's people who build websites and there's people who run websites. And you might be the same person, but you're definitely wearing a different hat when you're in each role. You need a tool that sits in the middle and helps that back and forth. It needs to serve both sides well. It needs to be something that a developer can really chew their teeth on and like as an object-oriented platform, but it needs to be something that you can experiment with late at night and know you're not going to break your site. And I think that's what we do really well.
How about you, Andrew?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think Franz and I, we approach the web from two distinct different spots, and I think that serves us really well. We get locked into a back and forth and a heated discussion at times where Franz really represents the aims of people who are managing their site, like he said, at 3 in the morning, and I'm coming from the developer perspective, trying to make things easier for the people who are building the websites. And I think the result as a whole is a system that people can learn really quickly, but as they want to go in and extend it, they find that there's a really solid framework for doing so.
So how did you guys came up with the concept of block?
Well, I mean, we had a framework, and so the idea of having add-ons to it, I think, is pretty fundamental to a lot of these different systems. Once we found the name Concrete, block just fell into place.
I mean, like a block is kind of a little bit different from, I mean, of course, there's a module in the other CMS as well, but it makes some kind very unique from the other CMS. But well, I'm kind of going to ask you a different question. But how did you come up with the block, the framework in the first place? Like where it's coming from, the observation you had with your client, or what's the origin, the basic of the framework coming from?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing is we knew we wanted to have one way of extending the system, not many. We found it very frustrating with other systems that you'd have to learn what seemed like duplicate labels for things that seemed to overlap. So it seemed like if you're going to extend something, there should be one basic way of doing it. It also felt like us that websites are basically built out of different parts that you may or may not need. So whether it was physically something on the page that had a square surrounding or not, there were components, and you could think of them as blocks that you would want to piece together, almost like working with Legos, to build a website. I mean, Andy can probably tell you more about the back end.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think it also comes from our production background, where we sort of became trained at looking at the web as a piece or a collection of different pieces on the same page, and we sort of trained ourselves to look at a page as a nav block here and a content block in the main area here, and then image across the top, and it just became natural for us to think of web pages content for our own CMS in the same way. And
just because that's how we would split the work up in the shop.
Yeah.
You deal with the navigations, I'll deal with the images.
And it lets everything come together as a whole more quickly as different bits are being worked on at the same time in parallel.
So the question is, what's the future of Concrete5? Franz?
Well, the future of Concrete5 is about you. The framework is pretty solid. There's definitely some features we're going to add. We're working on more database support. We're working on more multilingual support. But really, the big opportunity for growth is in add-ons and blocks and more themes, and making that marketplace that you see on our site really flush out with hundreds and thousands of things that make any website buildable quickly with Concrete5.
How about you, Andrew?
Yeah, absolutely. It is all about the community and the marketplace behind it. The core is still going to be worked on for the foreseeable future, and there's still a number of things that we want to do to it, but it's rapidly becoming something we work on less and less. And what we do add to it, we add specifically to make developers' lives easier, so they can build add-ons that they feel like providing to to other people.
So, I mean, maybe you might have to say same thing again, but would you have anything, one word, to comment to the users worldwide?
Yeah, I would say content management is important, and your desire to express your views, to talk about your businesses, to talk about your passions, your clubs, whatever you're building a website about is great, and we want you to do more of that. We want that to be easy. I think when Tim Berners-Lee thought up of HTTP, it was supposed to be simple. I'm sure it is for him, but the tools just aren't there. So we want it as easy as it is to write something in Word. It should be that easy to make a website. So help us keep doing that. Help us fill out that marketplace filled with blocks that are free. Help us put stuff in there that you can sell and make money with as well. Help Cats in Japan, because Cats is great. We love you. We want to come visit. Thank you.
Andrew, the message to the users worldwide.
Well, my one word would also be thank you. Thanks. That would be my one word. I really enjoyed the growth of the concrete5 community specifically. Just the number of people who are helping other people with concrete5, but also with just general web-related questions and non-web-related questions. I think we have a great group of people coming together and just helping people solve each other's problems has been great.
Good. Well, now I just came up with the other questions. Question is, so, well, obviously, if you didn't make concrete5 open source, we Japanese wouldn't know about the concrete5. So what was your impression about how, when you get the reaction from Japan, and then would you have any comment to the Japanese users, Franz, first?
Thank you. What you're doing is awesome. It's really exciting to see our software translated into another interface. It's just awesome to see that. It's really cool to see everyone helping each other in the forums, to wake up and see people with questions that have already been answered. It's really impressive to see people building sites that we can tell are concrete5 based in languages that we can't read. It's very exciting. We love the reviews. We love translating the reviews. We do want to come visit. I've never been to Japan, but I love your food. I'd love to eat some. Come, would love to go.
How about you, Andrew?
Yeah, definitely thank you. A milestone for concrete5 for me, I was telling this to Cats last night, was seeing it translated into different languages. That was just something I never thought was going to happen to software I had a big part in developing. And so to see it in the Japanese user interface was amazing, and I look forward to seeing it in the future. And I look forward to seeing concrete5.org grow to support communities of users all around the world too.
Good, thank you very much.